These are sayings by the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe, many years before the first Rebbe was imprisoned in Petersburg in 1798. For those of you who don't know, the first Rebbe of Chabad, he's the one that wrote the Tanya. He was imprisoned by his enemies. His enemies were religious Jews. Just something like King David, all of his enemies were religious Jews. Listen, the fact is there was no such thing as a non-religious Jew until about 300 years ago. In the time of the of Hanukkah, right before that, when the Greeks took over the world, there was a short period when the Jews they sort of abandoned Torah and the commandments, but they always believed in God. Jews always believed in God, always. That's a whole new thing that started only in the last 200-300 years, something like that. The Jews didn't believe in God. Whole new thing that never had been before. 3,300 years, Jews always believed in God. All the Jews always. Maybe they didn't believe that God could help them, that God would come to their, would God answer with their, wouldn't answer their prayers, but they always believed in God. It was very rare that there would be a Jew that would be like a total apostate and not believe in God. Okay, so many years before the Alter Rebbe was put into prison, he was put into prison by religious Jews that genuinely thought that his ideas that were mentioned in Chassidut, that every Jew is holy, etc., were dangerous. So he was put into prison. But many years before that, he once came out of his private room where all of his Chassidim were gathered, and he said, I just heard that in heaven, Gan Eden, in heaven, they sense the preciousness of this physical world. Not only the angels, but also the highest levels of godliness in the world of Atzilut. Because in the upper worlds have consciousness. They have consciousness. The worlds were, for instance, the worlds, all of the spiritual worlds were created from God's letters. So God's letters of God's, they have more consciousness than the worlds that they create. They just create these levels of anyways, the highest levels of godliness would give up everything just to say Amen Yehei Shmei Rabbah by a Jew. With all of his power, with all of your power, doesn't mean you have to shout out. It is with all of your intention, being totally immersed and thinking about these words, Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mavorach, may your great name be blessed, God. That's all he said. The highest of the highest worlds, the highest of the highest heavens would be willing to forego everything just to come and say one time, may God's name be blessed, to say those words in this world. I mean, a person can ask a question, but that doesn't make any sense. In the highest worlds, there's godliness all the time. And in this world, you just say a few words, Yehei Shmei Rabbah, how long does it take? A couple seconds. Even if it's the highest of high, but it ends, right? So that's the whole point. It doesn't end. When especially a Jew, but any person does a good thing in this world, then that good thing is eternal. We don't see it because the world covers it over. That's the word world means to cover. So this world covers over how precious a good deed, word, or thought is, how it's eternal. In this world, there's nothing eternal. We think this is reality. But the fact of the matter is to be in this confused reality and to devote yourself, even for a few seconds, totally to God, this is a biggest novelty that even the angels couldn't do. This is all he said. The effect is that he can see that he aroused such a flame in his followers that for a full year the Amen Yehei Shmei Rabbah had a different content to it. That's utter aleph. Here's utter bait. The psalm of this day we say Kol Anai Bach. Okay, it's not. It's a pronunciation of a certain prayer. Let's do tomorrow. Shabbat. Shabbat. All right, this is how you make up certain blessing after you drink wine. My grandfather wrote in one of his Hasidic discourses, it is necessary to study every day some of the Torah portion with Rashi, because his commentary are the select interpretations of the sages. Rashi is Rebbe Shlomo Yitzchaki. He lived about 900 years ago in France, and he knew everything. You know everything. It says you should learn the written Torah with his explanation, and at least you should finish one tractate of the Talmud with his commentary each year. With Rashi also made a commentary on the Talmud also. So you should try to learn finish one tractate every year of the year, and every day you should learn a little bit of the written Torah. We try to learn every Torah portion is divided into 7 parts. So we read one of those parts each day of the 7 days of the week with Rashi. That's what we do. Okay, now story.